And welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, November 16th, 2019, Season 13, Episode 41, My Age. I'm Scott.
I'm RJ.
And I'm Matt.
Welcome to the show, everybody. It's our 584th episode, as you can see here.
On the road to 1,000.
So I need to be in 3 from now.
Huh?
I need to be in 3 from now. I need to be in that one.
3 from now?
Yeah, it'll be the 44th episode.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Basically, you're the youngest one here.
I see what you're saying. I understand what you're saying now.
Youngins.
I'm younger than you? How old are you?
44.
You're 44, you're 44.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
James is 44.
I knew James was I've always known that James was older than me. I didn't know that, and I knew you were older than me. I did not know RJ's age, though. Actually, more than likely, I probably did, and I don't remember
He
ever finding out that information.
He didn't care to remember.
Yeah. In fact, your birthday was not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yours is...
Just a few days before yours.
Yeah, just before mine. You were not here for that, though, were you?
No.
I didn't think so.
You had to work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I was sick on my birthday, and that's why we didn't even do a show that week. That's right.
That's even worse.
If you'd like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228. 334-272-9228 is the number. Check out ingamechat.net. For all the links to get in touch with us, you can find us at Twitter at InGameChat. You can go on to Facebook and find us there. You can email us, everyone, at ingamechat.net. We are streaming right now on Twitch. Go to twitch.tv. You can find us there and join in the chat room live while we broadcast. Came up here extra early and was able to finally break free from the dependency of my own PC and using it to do the streaming. As you can tell, my box is not here.
Right.
It is not up here. It is downstairs. I did have to bring it just in case this did not work. But after this week, assuming this holds, and it should, it's going to stay at home.
You're not going to know what to do with yourself.
It'll be weird.
Lugging everything up and down. And
just
is it raining? Is it not?
Yeah, just out of a precautionary sake, it'll be weird not to bring it. Not to have it as a backup, you know? But I think it'll be fine. This box over here was built specifically for the purpose of streaming. But it was
use it for it.
Yeah, but it was built that way for other people to stream, and I really never gave it any kind of thought to set it up here for us until it just sat there after a while, and I just thought, well, that computer's up there. I wonder if it'll work. Because I remember I put OBS on it for some other people who wanted to use it, and I put OBS on it and got it all set up for that purpose, and then it was like, man, I know if I move this over, I've got to take all my settings, move them over, redo a bunch of stuff to get it, because the last time I looked up any kind of transferring of your settings and things, it was a real headache to do, but since the last time I looked, it's actually not. It is the copying of a folder and moving it over. That's basically it. It also helps if the location of any of your graphics of any kind, your logos or images or anything else that is on the screen, stay in one folder, and you just move that one folder over, and then all you got to do is replace the destination drive of where they're located. And it was real simple to get set up and do. So, so simple that I'm kind of kicking myself for not doing it much, much sooner than this. So, but I had a goal, wanted to get it done before Thanksgiving, and I have. So, speaking of Thanksgiving, of course, that weekend we will not have a show. That is not next weekend, but the weekend after that. And we won't be doing a show that weekend. Probably run last week's episode for that one because I know we went over the Black Friday deals last week. And if any new ones get added to it, I might just add that into that episode, just a real quick addendum to what's been done. But as far as I know, nothing's really getting added to that list. I think Fallen Order probably released late enough that it won't receive a Black Friday discount of any kind.
Probably not.
Or if it does, it'll be something very slim, small.
Or maybe like the bundle with the system.
Well, the bundle with the system's already out there.
Yeah.
That's
Like
already
maybe
out
like a
there
small-
on Black Friday. They've already got that.
Oh.
That's already listed as a Black Friday deal. So that you won't see that one go any lower.
Yeah. I doubt we'll see any kind of drop on this.
Yeah, Pokemon Sword and Shield released this past week as well. You're probably not going to see a discount on that one either.
Another reason why I need a Switch.
Yeah, well, it's starting to stack up, is it not?
I've
if it
missed-
wasn't already?
Yeah, well, I've been sort of Pokemon adjacent ever since '98.
Yeah.
Where like I played Red and I played Blue, but this one really got my attention.
Yeah.
There's just something about this one, like I guess maybe the open worldness or just something about it that just like, all right, this looks like I could.
Mine was the one that really enticed me, and I never did pick it up. Was the last one they released, which was the one that had Eevee or Pikachu on it. I can't remember what they were called. Let's go Pikachu or something. I don't know. I can't remember what it was called.
I do have a Detective Pokemon on the
3DS. Yeah, same. Which is something they should move over to the
Switch.
Yeah, it was really good. It was a good game.
I enjoyed it.
I heard that one's getting review bombed, by the way. Pokemon Sword and Shield.
There's some issues with it, and I don't know enough about that culture, community, whatever, to give you any kind of good assessment of what it is. Somehow they changed. See, this is gonna sound completely disingenuous because I am not a fan, and that way saying some of these words, I don't know what a Pokedex is, but apparently
It's like I guess it's like the index of Pokemon.
Well, they changed the Pokedex. Apparently,
Okay.
they switched something very significant about it, and I don't know what. But they switched something about it that doesn't allow you to do something that it used to be able to allow you to do, and they made a switch in that, and I think that's what that is, but I could be completely wrong. I thought it was
Quick little curse. I think it's the National Pokédex. Half of it's missing.
So it is a Pokedex related issue.
Yeah, half the Pokédex is missing. That's the gist that I get from it.
Right? See,
Really?
bunch of guys here who aren't into Pokemon trying to discover
what's going on
the
with
problem
Pokemon.
is with the new Pokemon game that people have a problem with.
Or review bombs always called using angry customers or some certain sector of customers.
Right?
Angry, but
Yeah, and those are your outliers. Those
Yeah.
are your extremists
Yeah.
who are going through and like, oh, this upsets me, so let me write a horrible review and then let me get more people to do that.
Yeah.
They're your they're your
It don't take many.
They're your Justice League defenders who went out and review bombed other movies so that because they were Justice League fans or something. I can't
Last
remember what it
Jedi fanboys.
was. Well, that's a completely different thing. The phone's ringing, and I'll get it.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess.
Chris?
First, I'm gonna guess it's Chris.
Let's see if we're right.
Second, I'm gonna guess that it's hopefully somebody with some sort of
Survey says.
news about this.
Telemarketing.
Hi, you're on In-Game Chat. Who's this?
Hey, this is Weeks.
Oh.
Hey, Weeks.
Hey,
you
Weeks.
are
Hey,
a Pokemon person?
Yeah, I am a Pokemon person. I wouldn't call myself the Pokemon person. So the Pokedex, if you've watched the anime or anything like that, in every game it's that little computer he pulls out, and it registers the Pokemon.
All right.
I think the significant thing of this change and what a lot of diehard fans are upset about is that in the past, I think every at least in the newer games, you could transfer electronically pretty much any Pokemon from any past game to the newer one. and that is not an option. And there's a lot of missing Pokemon in the new games.
So all that work people have done over the years is now not accessible
All right,
in this
so
new version.
I have a question, Week. So, say you're on one of the newer games, not this newest one, Sword and Shield,
Right.
but you transfer your Pokedex. Does that mean like all the Pokemons from the previous game will be in the game, or is there just a journal entry?
No. I think you can actually use them. Like, for instance, I think Sun and Moon, and then there was a newer version, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, or the most recent games that came out. Before that was X and Y.
Yeah.
And then I think you could pretty much transfer everything exclusively. There wasn't any real exclusivity to those games because you could transfer. And in fact, they came out with for $5 a year, and it still exists. Is called the Pokemon Bank, and it was a system where it made it really easy to transfer.
Okay.
And you could stick your own Pokemon in their own database, and then from there you could transfer them. And I think that's what folks are upset about is because those are not you're not going to see those with the best graphics in this new game. You're not going to see a lot of folks, conceivably, I think we're up to 700 something before this game came out, original Pokemon, each individual one. And you're not, conceivably every single one of those Pokemon has is a favorite by someone in the world.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of those folks that are not going to be able to have their favorite in this new game.
Now, with the new game on the Switch, I mean, I'm guessing theoretically, like they could do updates to it, like
absolutely, and I think
and
they
then
will.
bring people, once they redo the models, redo the graphics, the skin, and just up polygon some or whatever, just like redo some of the old original OG Pokemon, and then include them in a later update. I'm guessing if they wanted to.
And like they're keeping Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard. That's those three. But I think, for instance, just to go back to the beginning, I think they've taken out Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur, and then Squirtle's tree as well. Squirtle, Wartortle, and Blastoise. I think that those are missing from this game, and so the code isn't there yet to either import them or they're not in the game.
As long as they got my Snorlax, I'll
90% positive. Yeah, Snorlax is probably in the game, but I don't have it yet. So
that's my spirit animal.
Those ones that you mentioned, the
those
Squirtle and the
popular.
Blastoise, I thought they were pretty popular. Even I've heard of them.
They are.
Yeah,
and they're not in the game in this new one
as of yet.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yep, as of right now.
Wow,
interesting.
I'd love to look up if that is technical limitations or what is the reason. What's the reason for doing that?
or a possible DLC money grab in the future.
Yeah, it could for sure be something that is coming in the future.
Yeah,
because this game is pretty immersive, and I think it's going to be around more or longer than some of the past ones.
like
What's the difference between it's Sword and Shield, isn't it?
Right.
What's the difference?
I think the
Okay,
legendary
so-
Pokemon that you get, one has a sword, one has a shield.
Kind of, yeah. One of them I think has a sword, and the other one it looks like the front of it is a shield. Like it kind of looks like it. It's kind of a lion.
So the game is the same with the exception of one single character?
No, and just like they did Red and Blue, this is brilliant Game Freak marketing from the very beginning. From a financial standpoint or a business standpoint, there are certain Pokemon that are in each version and are absent in the other version. So it forces you to trade
Or
to
buy
to
two
complete
copies.
Right, or buy two copies. Yeah. But even from the beginning, when they had that link on Game Boy, the Game Boy Link cable.
Yeah, with Red and Blue?
Right, with Red and Blue and Yellow. And even Yellow didn't have all of them. It had certain ones that Red didn't have. But with Red and Blue, you could complete your Pokédex, which is what a lot of folks like to do. It's electronic collection.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's why it's
pretty much
it's sort of scratching an itch to me. It's sort of like, hey, you've got a database and you can collect these things, and it's a collection thing, and you go out and do this. And I don't know, part of my that addiction node in my head is kind of going off a little bit for
It's tingling, huh?
It is just it's like whatever. It's a horrible spider sense. It's like it's a
Well,
spend the money
let
sense.
me also let me throw it in there real quick. Since X and Y came out, you no longer have to be like in the same room with somebody to trade. They have a worldwide trade network.
I would
now.
imagine, I would imagine by now that was the case, but in the early
finally,
days,
yeah, and that was only 7 years ago, maybe 6, I think, probably is when X and Y came out. That was pretty much it. And it was, I liken it to the Grand Exchange that finally came to RuneScape forever ago. But it was one of those things where you could trade items for you put your Pokemon in there and you say, I'm looking for this, and then you find someone worldwide that's looking for it as well. Now, I would also say that because there's a lot of folks that are professional, you might say, or at least competition level folks, and I think that they have certain teams, and they are probably pretty upset about the lack of the totally including every Pokemon.
yeah.
Probably feeling hamstrung at a tournament or something like that.
I don't really think that this is going to affect the folks that are buying this game, though. I think that everyone that was not going to buy it or is going to buy it is still going to get it. Just because it's Pokemon and the fans are diehard.
Yeah. Well, thanks for
Anyway, thank y'all for taking my call.
No.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling in
Thanks,
and
man.
enlightening us on this because
Absolutely.
you could hear that we were struggling.
Sure.
Yeah, we just
I just want to help out.
Yeah, we just knew it was being review bombed. We thought, someone was angry. We wanted to get a good reason why. Why were people upset about it?
Yeah, we had
Why
some
was this
struggle
happening?
trying to figure this out, and we needed the help,
Sure.
and you provided. So it's exactly
thank
what
you
we're
so
here
much.
for, and exactly why our phone number's here. So thank you so much, Weeks.
Awesome. Thanks. Y'all have a good one.
Take
too.
care.
You too now. Take care.
That's how this works.
Yeah.
We do a show that's broadcast all over the place, and you guys call in and tell us how wrong we are, or never call in and tell us how right we are, because nobody does that. You call in and tell us how wrong we are, or you call in and correct us on things, or at least inform us when we don't know. That's exactly how this works, and so I cannot thank you enough for doing that, Weeks. And Thar says, oh, Pokemon Talk before Jedi Talk? What's going on? Well, I mean, we just kind of got on that because RJ had seen that it was being review bombed, and so that's where the discussion started rolling in the Pokemon thing. To be sure, Thar66, that's probably all the Pokemon talk you're going to hear today. I don't see us expanding upon any of that since none of us are playing it. I will say that AC Wraith talked about a Pokemon Steelbox. There is a Steelbook for the Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee or whatever, the Pokemon games that were released not too long ago. I say not too long ago. I think it was almost less than a year ago. Those were released. They did have a Steelbook variant, but the cover art was just boring to me, and I was not interested in it. Also, those Steelbooks for Switch games, tiny.
Because the Switch games are tiny.
Yeah.
But they're legit Steelbooks. They're legitimate Steelbook products. And I have one for Mario Kart. Is it Mario Kart or is it Mario Odyssey?
Well, despite the
I think
size
it's
of it,
Mario Kart.
if it's designed well, that makes it attractive.
And that's the
man.
thing. If it does get a good design out of it, I would
Like-
easily pick it up.
Like the what was it? Flashback special edition. I think it
Is
looked
that
like
the 25th anniversary one? Yeah,
where it looked
okay.
like the Super NES cartridge. The Steelbook looked like the Super NES cartridge.
I don't remember that one.
I'm pretty sure it was Flashback.
Well, I know Metroid, the Metroid,
Super Metroid?
the one that just came out on, was it 3DS?
Oh yeah, Metroid. Yeah, that one looked like
the revitalization. Looked
Yes,
like the old
Return
Game
of
Boy.
Samus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Return of Samus. That had a Steelbook that looked like the old Game Boy cartridge.
Yes.
And so, which was a legit Steelbook, yeah.
And see, when they do stuff like that, I really love it.
Yeah, the only other Steelbook I picked up for Switch is Bayonetta. And I had to import that to get that. But I really liked it, and I wanted it, so. Anyway, though, that, like I said, that's probably going to be the Pokemon talk.
Speaking of
Pokemon talk
Switch, real quick,
Yeah.
did you pick up Link's Awakening?
I have not really picked up anything for my Switch. It's still in the. It's still. Remember, I have a problem with my Switch.
Yeah, and fix it.
I can. My worry is, no, I haven't fixed it.
Okay, that would be a worry.
The problem is that if I can, I got lucky once and was able to turn it on and quickly turn off the Wi-Fi, and that has kept it going. But I don't like that.
I wonder if it got messed up during an update. Or?
I don't know, and I'm kind of hoping that another update comes out or something. I'm a little bit. I'm sort of in that mode where you're afraid to try it again to see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, oh man, I don't want to lose that. So
Yeah.
I had to write. I wrote back to a couple of companies who had sent me games to play, and I apologized profusely that I have your game. Your game did not brick my system, but there is a problem with my system, and I'm not going to be able to play your game. It is still tied to my account, and will one day be able to download and actually play it. But I don't know, and I'm also a little reluctant to send it in and get fixed.
Yeah.
Just because I haven't heard horror stories. Like they send you a Switch back, you get a Switch. I've just heard things about your account losing things that it's tied to because Nintendo likes to tie your account to a system rather than to I don't know, it's a weird thing.
Rather than a cloud account.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. Like if I take, if I sign into my Steam account, all my games are right there, and I can connect it to any computer that I want to, and
Yes.
boom, I've got it.
Super easy.
Yeah. Can't do that on a Nintendo system almost of
No.
any kind. They've always had this thing where it's just they've always made that difficult.
Yeah.
Anything that everybody else has been doing, Nintendo will do differently and make it more complicated.
Yeah, they're one of the last ones to adopt, common sense technologies.
It's annoying.
But I do want to switch. It's just, the idea of all right, one of the things I would buy would be
Oh, look at that! Yeah, I
Zelda.
see the collector's edition for Flashback.
yeah. Is that the one? It does look like the
Yeah, it's got the SNES box, but it's a steelbook. That's really cool.
yeah.
It says retro cartridge style metal case. That indicates to me that it is not Steelbook brand because it says metal case. But I don't know. I'd have to look at it and see to let you know. I know when I open up my Mario Kart Steelbook and my Bayonetta Steelbook, on the insert of the case itself at the bottom, you'll see embossed in the protective plastic that's on there, it'll say Steelbook, because that's the brand name. There are differences. It's really weird, and I know that this has nothing to do with anything, but there are differences. 99% of the time, if you're in a video store, or not a video store, but if you're in like a Best Buy or something like that, and you're picking up something that says exclusive Steelbook,
yeah.
it is legit Steelbook. Now, I picked up.
So that's the company, kind of like Xerox, or
Yeah, I early in my collecting, I picked up two that I thought were Steelbooks. One was Wizard of Oz, and another one was, I think, the new Planet of the Apes. I thought they were Steelbooks, and then I looked, and it was like, oh, nope, these are Metal Pack or something like that was what they were called. It's still kind of cool, but it's not what I like.
It's not the real deal.
Yeah, and here's a way you can tell, and this is what I'm looking at right here. There are hinges on the Metal Packs.
okay,
They have a hinge that is on the spine. You can see where the hinge is that connects the front and the back. Steelbook doesn't have that. They don't have a hinge. It's all plastic that keeps it all together.
It's kind of like a clamshell.
In a sense,
sense,
yeah.
with a steel outer casing.
Yeah. That's something to look for if you're not sure if something is a steelbook or not. I'm not saying they're inferior. They're not. But
Still
Just
collectible.
different.
Still collectible.
yeah, still a different thing, yeah. But you don't find a lot of those anymore. Steelbooks really, really...
Took the market.
they've really roller coastered that. So when a new movie comes out, it's got a steelbook variant. It is legit steelbooks. Very rarely is it a metal case thing. What did I pick up recently? Oh, I did pick up the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Okay,
Got a
yeah.
nice looking steelbook for that.
haven't seen that.
I've seen that I saw that at Best Buy recently when I picked something up.
Yeah.
I was still there.
I picked up Wizard of Oz legit steelbook this time, but they released in 4K. Now, that steelbook, that is a great looking steelbook. If you look that up, because they don't use cover art for the film, it's honestly a picture I've never seen before. That is obviously was used in promotional material. But it's one I've never seen before, and it's really, really nice. And I also grabbed Toy Story 4.
It needs to come with a digital download of Dark Side of the Moon.
Well, it comes with a digital download, but not of Dark Side
is
of
the
the Moon.
Is the 4K picture of Dorothy sleeping in a bed of roses?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that before.
Okay.
Yeah.
That picture. Yeah.
I'd never seen that.
Is it roses or is it the poppies? That
It
Bunch
could
of
be.
red.
Yeah, it could be.
yeah, I
red
think
out
it's the
here.
poppies
But
when they
yeah.
got drugged.
Yeah, I'll put an image in the chat.
See, I'd never seen that image before, and I just thought it was great. I loved it, and I thought this is fantastic. I mean, obviously, you immediately know what this is. There doesn't have to be a title on the box or anything else. It's just Dorothy in a bed of poppies, roses, whatever. You know exactly what that is.
Yeah. I think the last one I picked up was Alita from Best Buy. That was the last.
See, that was that was a nice looking book. That's a nice one. That was a nice looking steelbook. We've gotten off topic, which doesn't matter because we've got to go to break anyway. When we come back, we'll go over what we've been playing, which is going to include, for me, Destiny 2. For Matt, it will include Jedi Fallen Order. Will it include Death Stranding?
No.
Okay. Just wasn't sure. You weren't here last week, so I wasn't sure.
It will not include that.
Nate will have to be our guy to cover Death Stranding whenever he comes back. So hopefully he's getting some time in with that one. Speaking of, though, we have music from Jedi Fallen Order. In my quest to find legit tracks from the game, I could find nothing but like a 30-minute extended mix of the main menu theme. I didn't want that. I found something, a bunch of preview tracks from the soundtrack.
Okay.
So that's what I grabbed. And so I have no idea how to tell you what the title of this track is. It's just called Preview Number 3.
Sounds good.
And it's from Jedi Fallen Order. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. Welcome back to In-Game Chat. You might be thinking this is from like a Civ game. You sort of wouldn't be too far off. This comes from, it's the beta version, but I can't imagine something like this wasn't produced and not used in the final build. But it comes.
It doesn't sound like it belongs in the beta. Would it?
Right, exactly. This comes from Planet Zoo.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can hear it now.
These are the same guys
Who did the Planet Coaster?
and who did space game you play,
Elite Dangerous.
Elite Dangerous. That's what I was. I was like, Event
I was
Horizon.
seeing if you're going to get it.
I was like, Event Horizon. No, that's the movie, which is awesome.
Yes, it is an awesome movie.
Yeah. Yeah, Planet Zoo, the main thing for that. Again, this came from the beta, but because I couldn't find anything that came from the main game, but I can't listen to this.
I like it. This to me sounds like something you'd listen to at Epcot Center. Like
It's
while
got-
you're waiting in queue.
It's got vocals in it and everything. I just don't see this being done just strictly for a beta and not
Not being the final.
making them the final game. So, anyway, welcome back to the show. We're going to talk about what we have been playing, and I'm going to leave Matt last, because that's just going to lead into our conversation basically about that game. But I'll start with RJ. What's it been playing, man?
It's still been Code Vein all this week. I'm still trying to get through this part, and about 2 hours ago, I finally did.
Nice.
This afternoon.
Is that why you were running behind a little bit?
No,
Normally you're here earlier than when you showed up. So
Yeah.
that's all I was wondering.
no. It was a hard fought battle that I finally got through on enhanced difficulty. So I'm thinking the rest should be simple because it's not two bosses at one time; it's only one boss at one time. So the basic strategy was pretty simple: just keep your focus on one, the more dangerous of the two, Blade Bear, and just keep your focus on that. And instead of going offensive on everything, I just put everything into defense. Because the problem I was talking about last week was 2 hits and you're dead.
Yeah, that's right.
Now I put enough defense in there. It's 3 hits and I'm dead. So I got enough time to back off.
Improvement.
Heal. Yeah, so I could back off, heal, and keep my partner from dying too quick as well. So after I finally managed to take out the Blade Bear, the Cannoneer, who is much, much slower than she is, much slower and much more easier to deal with. Mm-hmm. So just took our time, backed off, kept the healing to a minimum because by the time she went down, we were down to like 2 healings left. So
Yeah.
I had to back off and bide my time and treat it like Dark Souls at that point. Go real slow and tedious in that battle. But I finally got it done. So now I can get to the government building and start grinding to get my character up to level 300 and hit the max on that until the next time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I've been working on.
As for me, it has been nothing but Destiny. Destiny 2 anyway. With the new Pinnacle enhancements and everything else, things have just been kind of wonderful. It's been a steady progression for myself. You know, now that they've revamped the way the Pinnacle system works, and I don't have to. I'm not really bound by the RNG of things, the randomness of things in order to. I mean, I still can't select what I want them to drop, but.
We got a better idea of what's coming.
Well, not even that. It's the fact that before they changed the Pinnacle system, you had to have every slot in all armor pieces on your character and all weapon pieces on your character had to be like a higher level. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if the cap was 950, which is what it is, I would have to go out there and collect every time I would run a Pinnacle event, it would drop a 951 something. Mm-hmm. So it'd either be a 951 head, arms, chest, legs. What's the other thing called? Mark.
The mark.
Yeah, the mark, the bond, the cloak. And then, but that was RNG related. So sometimes it might drop a 951 arm piece, and then I do the next Pinnacle event, another 951 arm piece. Mm-hmm. Only until that was full would something start dropping at 952, which was ridiculous. So they've changed that completely. And now almost every time I run something that is a Pinnacle type thing, I'm getting about 2 points extra than what I've got. Mm-hmm. So if I'm running a 952, I'm probably going to get something that's 954, 955 when it drops. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter how much of it I'm wearing or anything like that. It doesn't matter like that. So, I mean, currently, all the armor on both of my characters is sitting up around 956, 57. And then the weapons are dropping around 954, 55. I could use some increase in weapons, which I'll get when I run the raid this weekend, which I haven't done. I haven't run the raid yet on either character this weekend. But the dungeon run is an easy, simple run. And I say that, and I know that you haven't done that, but the new dungeon they released is not a difficult thing at all. Takes some coordination, and it takes some specific weapons, but it is not anything. In fact, I don't even run the dungeon anymore. I find somebody who's got a boss checkpoint, and then I join them and run the boss, because everything leading up to that does not drop higher level gear.
Oh. So what's the point?
Well, the point is that dungeon will drop a masterworked item. The end boss drops masterwork gear. In other words, it is completely leveled up, level 10 masterwork type gear.
Oh, okay.
Every time you run it for the first, every time you run it after reset, the boss will drop that gear. So, and of course it's a pinnacle thing. So, for instance, last week when I ran it, it dropped a helmet that was 952, but it was masterworked all the way. It had the gold rim around it. It was all, this thing is legit. And I was like, okay, great. I ran it this week, and it dropped a 955 masterworked helmet. I'm okay with that. No problem at all. Doesn't bother me whatsoever, because it moved me up in level, and it's also masterworked. Boom. If I get rid of the other one, the lower masterworked helmet, I'm going to get a ton of shards and things like that whenever I dismantle it.
I was thinking those master cores or whatever they're called.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Drop.
Yeah,
legendary shards. You got plenty of already.
I'm talking about the master, the cores.
The cores, cores. Yeah,
it'll drop. I think 14 or something like that. It'll drop a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good amount of stuff that it'll drop. So, I mean, the dungeon run it's a simple little thing to do. The haunted forest is still going on, and you just have to run through at least 9 branches to get a pinnacle item to drop on that. As it was harder to do when the forest first started, which was 2 weeks ago. Okay. It was a little bit hard to get up to 9. You could if you got a fire team and everybody got their stuff together and do it, but it was hard to randomly drop in and get it done. Now it happens pretty much on my first try.
Okay.
Basically because people have been doing it enough. Everybody's leveling up enough. The matchmaking that it puts you with seems to want to put you with people of your level. So I'm a 960, and it's not throwing me in with 940s. It's throwing me in with 960s and 70s.
Okay.
And we can get the job done. Okay. So that's been good. What's the other thing that I run? I started running the Masterful Nightfall, which is the top tier difficulty that you can run on the Nightfall.
Okay.
And
how exactly do they make it difficult? Like you can't take damage, or they put some type of stipulations on the game that makes it harder?
You can't change equipment, so whatever you go in with is what you go in with. You cannot change equipment.
Okay, so if I go with my scout rifle, I can't change my hard light. I'm stuck.
You're stuck with everything. You're not only your equipment, but your ability too. So whatever you've picked for your ability cannot be changed.
So right now I'm Void with a Song of Justice. That's all I got to work with.
What is that?
That's a scout rifle.
Oh, yeah. But I'm saying if you go, you're Warlock, right?
Titan.
So if you go Bubble, you're stuck with Bubble. If that's your super, you're stuck with it. You cannot change anything.
I found this what I've been using like 90% of the time. Is Void for the throw of the shield. They had to put up the bubble.
Yeah. The bubble's good. The bubble's good in the pit too. By the way, the dungeon boss, the bubble's actually really good. You step into it, you get your buff, you step out, fire a shot, step back in, reload, fire a shot. So, the Masterful Nightfall, it adds a bunch of different. There's a ton of factors that go into it. The recommended power for that is 980, which is way up there. Most of these I can do some damage on, but it's helpful because we're running with 3 people. But it's not. It's also the timer's a little bit extended on it. I remember in before Shadowkeep came around, before the new DLC popped, you had about 15 minutes to clear Nightfall before your score started to dwindle. You'd build up a certain score. And the point, by the way, the point of these Nightfalls is to get over a 100,000 point score at the end of it. If you can do that, it'll drop your pinnacle gear. After 15 minutes, it would usually your score would start to trickle down a little bit. That does not happen on the higher level difficulties until after 25 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give you a little leeway.
It varies.
Yeah.
The first two, which are normal and then hero, 15-minute timer still. After 15, it starts dropping. Legend is 20 minutes, and then it starts dropping. Master is 25, and then it'll start dropping.
Okay.
At 25, your score gets cut in half. At 30, your score goes to 0. But we completed that in, I think, 15 minutes this morning. Yeah, we ran that and completed it in 15 minutes. Had a good team. We all had the weapons. We were coordinated with what we were doing, and was not hard to do at all.
Okay.
You get a good team to do that, it's not really that difficult. So that, and then I did a nightmare hunt on master difficulty as well. There is no time penalty on that. You just need to get through it. Obviously, if all of you die, you get sent back into orbit and you have to do it again. Your equipment does lock on those as well. Again, wasn't a difficult run. I think it took us maybe 10 minutes.
Okay.
And I got a pinnacle gear. And then after that, it's just the raid. So, I mean, this is all I'm doing now is when reset hits, I go and hit my pinnacle things on my characters, which is putting a lot of time back into my, I don't want to say social life because I don't have one. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Other things.
It's
Yeah.
putting a lot of time back into my streaming time. How about that? Where I can go watch Disney Plus or Netflix or whatever instead of playing Destiny all night. So now all I have to run each week is a dungeon, a nightfall, the nightmare hunt, and the raid. 4 things to do on both characters, so 8 things to do.
About 20 minutes each.
With the exception of the raid, I can get the dungeon, the nightfall, and the nightmare hunt done in a single night, probably in an hour, maybe less.
Okay.
So one day I can do that on the warlock, the next day I do it on the hunter, and then I just wait until probably the weekend before I hit and do the raids, which is exactly what I'm doing tonight and tomorrow, is finding a group, do the raids on both, and then I'm done.
That's it.
Done with the week. Until they throw in the Iron Banner again, and then I got to...
Grind on that.
Yeah, well, it drops good stuff.
There was something I saw about Destiny. Something about someone hit like this room. They got like a light level of $9.99.
Well, we talked about that,
Yeah.
and I think you weren't here. Maybe I don't know.
There was something about something that added 46 based if you had something or whatever. But
Well, you got that artifact now, and the artifact as you level that up,
That
levels
Vex
you
core?
up.
that Vex core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll reset when the next season hits, which I think is in the first week of December. That'll reset. Everybody will go back to 0 again, and so currently I'm sitting at a 953. I think I'm sitting at 953 or 954.
Okay.
But my artifact gives me a 15 plus bonus. So that takes my light level up to like 960 something.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah. Your light level gets boosted up by this.
Yeah,
artifact.
I think I'm at 968 right now, or 969. But see, when the next season starts, I'll lose that bonus, and it'll go back down to 950 or whatever.
Whatever you built yourself up to.
Exactly.
before
I'll
then,
have nothing, and then you work on that grind again to build that back up. So yeah, it's that's what'll happen when the season goes. No, somebody was able to grind and grind and grind since release and got himself to 999 based on just that artifact.
Yeah.
It had a whole, I think it was 40 plus 45 or something,
Yeah.
is what he got. Somebody noticed there was something in the lore that talked about when you hit level 999, go do this thing by yourself. You'll get the true ending of blah, blah, blah. He went and did it. Nothing happened because Bungie's not prepared for that. They never are.
We didn't expect anybody to work on this and get to this point. So
Right?
all they got was like a letter.
The devs put something on their website, a little update saying, so you did this, and they put some puzzly aspects in there, like, oh, this is a little cryptic or whatever. That's all. Nothing happened. Basically, they weren't prepared for it. It happened, and they had to deliver something.
Yeah. So translation. We didn't expect nobody to do this.
Yeah.
So therefore, we didn't make anything.
They had another thing
Yeah.
happen this week, which was, and it was tied into the Halloween event that's been going on. This is the last week of the Halloween event. In the triumphs of doing these little side things where, get this many kills in the haunted forest, run it this many times, collect all these different masks, there was a secret triumph. And nobody knew what it was, but those people who can dig into the code of the game on PC,
The metadata. Or
yeah,
whatever.
the metadata, they dug into the code, and apparently that triumph said something about get a spider in your sights or something like that. It was called Spider Vision or something. See a spider in your sights. Nobody knew what that was. It wasn't happening for anybody for the first 2 weeks. Somebody had an idea of what it was because in Destiny 1, there was a thing where if you were aiming down sight on your gun, you'd see this blurred image of a spider that kind of looked like it was coming down into your screen, and it would freak people out a few times,
Oh, like the one in like the Halloween event, Mortal Kombat.
I don't know what that is, but sure.
Basically, you'd have a fight, and while you're focusing on your characters on screen, suddenly the spider jumped up in front of the action and got right in your face. And
Yeah.
yeah.
It was a little humorous because it would just kind of come down, and there would be a sting musical cue whenever it happens, and so it'd be like, ooh, spooky. They called it spooky trials because it only happened in trials, but people figured that's what it was. It was not happening to anybody. Finally, this week, it started happening for people everywhere.
I wonder if it was timed.
But no. But nothing would happen. Like, a spider did not come down in your sights. You just had to be aiming down sights, and people were getting the triumph. They didn't have to wear a mask. They didn't have to go in the haunted forest. It was just happening randomly. The only thing I can figure is that this was something that they wanted to implement, and they could not get it to work. And so they finally said, just release it and put it on a randomness thing and just let it happen.
Weird.
Because they could not get it to work. Because I can't see why they would do that. I can't see why, other than to bring people back into play again to get that one triumph. Which, by the way, this thing awards no points or nothing. It's just
just for fun.
it's a Pokedex.
Just bragging rights.
It's a Pokedex. I got all of them. It was just a collecting thing, and so it never triggered for them, and it was really weird. It seems like they may have tried to get it to work, and it just could not work. So they just flipped on the random switch and said, "Here, just let it happen."
So I mean, it just sounds like something that you could just like implement by what, be at this location, be at this spot, and aim down your sights at this location, and bam, you got it.
Oh,
But
people were no. Trust me, people were trying everything
Yeah.
leading up to it.
No, I mean the way the developers could have implemented that, but they tried something from Destiny 1 that didn't work in 2 or something. It just
Maybe nobody really knows, but because when the triumph hits, it says
Yeah.
Spider Vision, get a spider in your sights. Nobody knows what that means.
Yeah.
People were going to the character who was named Spider and were trying to aim down sights. You can't when you're in there because it is a
Safe area?
it's like a safe area. Yes, you can't aim down sights at him, but people were thinking it had to do something with him. It doesn't. People were trying everything.
the point I'm trying to make is that it sounds like something easy to implement. Okay, just like I said, be here, look at this spot, and there you go. You got the achievement.
As-
But
as-
they tried
as-
something probably fancy or difficult. And they
As
just
somebody who doesn't code for anything at all, I have no idea how difficult it was or what the situation was and why it wasn't working. So anyway, that's all that I've played. Matt, I'm going to take this call, and then you're going to kick off our next segment
Sure.
afterwards, since I do want to spend some time talking about that.
Yes.
But is this Chris? Hey, Chris.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, nothing about to hit the top of the hour here. What's going on with you?
Still enjoying the walking simulator,
Good. That's
Oh.
good.
and I hope Nate is too. But anyway, speaking of which, have y'all seen the new trailer for the Sonic movie?
Oh, we did.
I
did. Yeah. No, they did a fine job.
It
on,
actually looks
on-
better.
on changing that.
I'm glad that they came out and did that.
Yeah.
No, that's they did a fine job with that, and I am.
General consensus is now, look, they did what you asked.
Now go
Now you
see
got to
it.
go see it.
The other part of it is that apparently they pulled in somebody from Sonic Mania to do the redesign.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, they had somebody on the Sonic Mania team to come in and do the redesign, and which is like, well, I can't.
Why
say,
wouldn't that?
Yeah, why didn't you do that in the first place?
WTH. You know, why?
Yeah.
Why
No.
wasn't that
Why didn't you do that to begin
from
with?
the beginning? Yeah,
Because
that should have been the
because
default.
that sounds too much like right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why.
God, I don't understand it. And plus, I again, I am not somebody who codes or creates CGI for whatever reason. I'm sure Detective Pikachu was finished long before or long after they had started the design elements of what Sonic would look like. For them to look at that and say, hey, they did a pretty good job there. Why don't we kind of mimic what they've done here?
But at least with Detective Pikachu, you look at that and that looks like a Pikachu.
Yeah.
You didn't, in that first trailer, you looked at Sonic and it did not look...
It was so bad that people thought this had to be a conspiracy. At the beginning, you remember that?
Yeah,
this is so bad. This is so bad. They had to have made it so bad so that someone just to test the.
Just so that way we could get buzz about it.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I'm about to wonder too, but you know that first scene in the first trailer where he was stretching his legs in the roadway there, and I'm thinking that looks like a darn man in a suit. I mean, it didn't look natural. That's not Sonic.
No, it was bad. No. It was bad all the way around. In
Horrendous.
fact, music choice was bad. Everything about that first trailer was bad. And I kind of... Part of me is kind of glad they did that because it shows you not necessarily what a lot of people's voices can make change, because honestly it rarely happens. But it kind of showed you here's what they did,
What it
and
could have
then
been.
here's how they went back and changed it and made it right. Because honestly, the second, I say it's a second trailer, it feels more like it's like, well,
This is the real trailer.
Let this be our first trailer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's much better, much better. I don't know that I'm going to go see it, but it's much better.
There was a bunch of. I remember the people who, like a day or two after that first trailer dropped, the photoshops and the people putting out their vision of what he was supposed to look like at the camp. It came out in droves.
I'm
man.
pretty cynical, so I, seeing that first trailer with the Sonic version,
Yep.
was seeing that first trailer was just like, oh God, no. And then I was just cynical, thinking that's crap. I'm not going to see
This
it.
was an accident, right?
Then I heard him say that they're going to go back and do a redesign. I was still cynical, thinking it's probably going to get it wrong again. We'll see. They did get it right, but I'm still like cynical in the fact that the movie's probably going to be bad. So I don't know.
I mean, from what I've seen of the movie, at least it looks halfway decent to me, and I want to probably go up seeing it. I want to go see it for sure now, but I mean, it looks like Sonic from the days that I was growing up playing the games. I mean,
It's like it's supposed to look. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly how it's supposed to
a
look.
good look about how Green Hill Zone was supposed to look.
Yeah.
The thing about it was, a lot of people were asking, like, why did they just make a CG movie instead of having real life actors in there? And they probably said, first thing someone said was like money. The cost of making a.
I would think a CG movie would be cheaper.
Who knows?
then Jim Carrey.
That's what I'm saying. I would think
Yeah.
a CG movie would be cheaper than paying actors and caterers and locations and all this other stuff
all that
you
goes
have to
into
do.
it. Yeah.
I would think doing a CG film would be the cheaper way to go.
And speaking about all that remake stuff, I saw a clip that Conan O'Brien uploaded, where Sonic visited his studio. Good God Almighty, that was just wrong.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
A
If I'm
certain
basing on the
object was blurred
thumbnail,
out.
yeah,
Yeah, say no more.
yeah.
Hadn't seen it, but it's okay.
We'll talk off the air.
Yeah, Chris, we're at the top of the hour. We got to run, man. But thank you for calling.
All right, y'all have a good day.
Take care.
Take care now.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, we got to go. And when we come back, Matt's going to tell us what he's been playing, which will lead into our discussion of Jedi Fallen Order. We haven't even gotten to the news, but that's fine. I want to talk about Jedi Fallen Order. So here is music from, I guess it just got released this last week. It's Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, which I think just got a re-release.
I was going to say that. I mean, they already had Age of Empires 2, the remake, HD remake.
Well, this is the definitive
I guess this has
edition.
the expansion packs.
Maybe. Anyway, it's the main theme from that. We'll be back with more in-game chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Yep, everything seems to be holding up.
Yay!
Heck of a time to check, but okay.
Right? Well, you know, it's an hour into it. Let's see. Let's take a look at the
Still
board.
we're on the air.
Yeah. I mean, we're on the air,
I mean, but
obviously.
like streaming.
And look, that's part of our charm, folks. We do things at the wrong time every time.
Not really. That's not the wrong time. It's just like, let's make sure it's working.
Yeah.
Let's make sure everything is good, and it is.
Yeah.
And that's it, you know. We just got to get through this hour, and if it holds up, then I feel like we'll
You're
be
pretty
good
confident?
to go.
Just 1 hour. That's all
I'm
it takes.
confident. What I'm not confident about is the amount of space on that box. I may need to get him to add more space or put in another drive.
How much is in there now?
I'll have to look again. It's over 100 gigs, but the amount of space, but it's like 78 gigs are already taken. And so
I'm nervous already.
yeah, I mean, we're fine. I think we're fine. But I'll have to see. So here's what I'll have to see.
Okay, see, I'm not comfortable unless you got 4 terabits in there right now.
Did I read it
I'm
wrong?
actually looking at getting a 4 terabit drive on the computer.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have a terabit of space. But did I read it wrong and it said that it's got 118 gigs of free space left? Or did I read it wrong? Or did I read it right and it said out of 100 and so, 78 has been used? And it's only got so much left. So
We'll find out.
Either way, we're about to find out, yeah.
yeah, we'll find out. If it can do this, then that's all I really care
If we
about.
cut out in the next 20 minutes.
No.
You just won't be able to save it.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that. Music right now. This is from Destiny 2. It is music that plays during the new dungeon that they added, the Pit of Heresy. It's pretty actually good.
Heresy.
This is the big boss fight. Everything's like building up, and you're fighting. That's just great. Love the music for this. Heretical Omen is the name of the track. So, anyway, Matt.
So-
before we get to
What I've been
that
playing?
game you've been playing, what did you play before that game? You've been
So
didn't
I've been
come here
bouncing
yesterday.
around.
Yeah.
I'm taking a break from Borderlands 3 to play Breakpoint. I'm taking a break from Breakpoint to play Outer Worlds. I'm taking a break from Outer Worlds to play Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
Now I'm taking a break from Red Dead 2.
Yeah. See,
So this
see-
past since last I was on, Outer Worlds and Red Dead 2 of what I've been playing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've got Outer Worlds on the Xbox Game Pass that I can play at any time.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
I really like that game.
And I'll get to that eventually. Borderlands 3, I don't know when or if I will ever get to that. I know the DLC I think is getting released pretty soon.
Yeah,
Or talking about
it's Borderlands. I get like their Steam. I signed up on Twitch to follow when they release the shift codes.
Shift codes, yeah.
So I've got like a whole bunch of gold keys.
Same here.
But I haven't used them yet. But I got them just in case I need them.
But hold off on those. Like, hold off on
until
those
I
so you
get
can
like
a higher
the
level,
higher,
to the
high level cap. Yeah.
Borderlands, I still feel the same way. I just didn't have enough in there to pull me back in there. 2 was the high point for me for Borderlands 2.
I'm
The
enjoying
Outer
3.
Worlds, I'm hearing nothing but good things about. So I may pick that up eventually or whatever.
For like
but
an RPG first person like kind of Obsidian game, it is. I'm really enjoying it.
is it Fallout without Bethesda's influence? Really?
Kind of feels that way.
Yeah. So better overall.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They do have like that sort of like time dilation, like kind of like the VAT system in a way.
Okay.
Just the the environments, the stories, the everything.
Okay.
Consequences of your actions. I'm really enjoying it.
Okay.
Red Dead 2. I mean, heck, it's Red Dead 2. It's on the PC.
You got it working okay?
Yeah, finally got it working.
Okay.
It was that day one patch that when I first picked it up on day one, when I tried to load it, it would before it even get into loading screen, it would just crash the desktop.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a day one patch, and now it works fine.
Okay. Just story. You're not playing online. Just the story mode.
I got online briefly because they give you 50 gold bars for for signing up and everything with day one. So
Yeah, I keep seeing those things about
I got the 50
bounties, the bounties for the week.
Yeah.
See the different people that you can look for. I forget. It was like something like 4 or 5 people out there right now. It's kind of like those elusive targets on
Yeah.
Hitman. For this week, try to catch this person, get this reward at the end. So things like that.
I'm liking. I mean, it's Red Dead 2. It's fun. I'm just trying to get back to where I was, on the PS4. So it's like I remember, I'm working on my satchel, so like hunting the animals and stuff like that, trying to skin them. With this character, I'm going more good than bad. When I was playing on the PS4, I would just I was an outlaw, just shoot people to shoot people. This one, I'm just trying to I'm trying to be more of like a hunter, like just go out on my horse, just hunt some stuff, trade pelts, and enjoy it. Occasionally, because of story, you have to rob banks and whatnot.
What was the penalty for hunting? Was it something like basically the more bullets you put in it, the less the pelt value is?
Yeah. Or you have to use a specific weapon for the pelt. So to get like a perfect pelt, like for the rabbits, if you shoot it with a shotgun, it's just going to blast it to heck and back.
Okay,
So you have to do like a varmint rifle and aim for the head. Or like for the small games like the chipmunks or the squirrels, you have to use a bow and arrow.
You playing in first person mode?
I have been.
Because I've heard that's the way to do it.
It's a lot. It's so much better on the PC than it was with the controller.
Yeah.
Just even some of the fights and everything.
You like to play with a controller, though, even
I
when it's a
do,
mouse and keyboard type thing. You like to play with a
But for
controller.
this one, I've been busting out the mouse and keyboard.
Okay, good, good.
Just to see how it feels.
Yeah. And I guess you're playing that other game on. You're playing that on PC?
Yeah.
Fallen Order?
Yes.
Okay. Are you playing with a controller?
Yeah.
Okay.
For that one,
It
that
seems to
one
work-
actually it says you can play with the keyboard and mouse, but they prefer it's sort of designed for the controller.
Designed for the controller. Yeah.
Yes. And so I picked it up yesterday and I've been playing it and man, I don't want to be here right now. I want to be playing it.
I'm sure.
A single player Star Wars game, from the ground up. I love Battlefront 2's Inferno Squad missions for the most part. I mean, story wise, I was like, towards the end, but I mean, it was good story. Some of the stuff in Battlefront 2 I absolutely loved. Like, there's a scene where did you do it?
What?
Battlefront 2. No. One of the Inferno Squad guys, Del. Miko, he meets up with Luke Skywalker, and like their interactions was just fantastic. To me, that was like, wow, that is, they really portrayed the character of Luke Skywalker really well, in my opinion, in that, and I absolutely loved it. But for this, for Jedi Fallen Order, I was going into it being like, all right, you know what, I'll give it a shot. It's a Star Wars game, but I'm surprised. The characters are really cool. The opening level is basically what we thought it would be, where you're working on you're a scrapper, at a salvage yard, and you have to basically out yourself as a Force user, and that's where the troubles begin.
Did you have low expectations from the get go for the game, or because you said you were pleasantly surprised?
Tempered optimism, I guess.
I was going to say, you got to understand you're talking to Matt, and it's about a Star Wars game.
Yes,
regardless.
But I mean, we haven't had a single player.
No, that doesn't work that way.
We haven't had a single player Star Wars game in, man, I don't really remember the last actual single player game.
Not a detriment to Matt, but he is.
I'm blinded.
He is blinded by not just nostalgia of the fact, but he is blinded by his his fandom. Yeah. I mean, he is.
I admit it, yeah.
Depending on what you throw at me, I can be the exact same way.
Yeah.
Blinded by it as well.
And like, so I
can also be conscious of it and realize that I'm
about to say that doesn't protect you from disappointment.
Yeah, it does. That's what being blind to it can do. You're blind to that fact. You wash over the shortcomings.
Yeah.
And only focus on
the good things.
But then you over amplify those good things
to make up for the
shortcomings because you want it to win. You want it to succeed.
So
and when reality hits you, what happens?
Reality never hits you, though. That's the thing. Reality never hits you on that.
I love Jar Jar Binks. What are y'all talking about?
So, I mean, again, this is just me trying to explain the situation of being blinded by this and the way Matt can look at things. The way I can look at things depending on what it is.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of have that depending on what it is. But
So, I mean, I wouldn't say I had low expectations. Just like going into it, I was very, very neutral instead of me normally being up to 11, right? I was like, all right, let's, it's been a minute, like all the games I wanted, got canceled between 1313, Ragtag, stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, let's see. But like man, they've so far they've won me over.
Yeah, everything that I have heard about this, again, coming from people not you,
Yes.
is that it is
Credible
living.
sources.
Yeah, is that it is living up to
What it needs to be.
what it needed to be.
Yes.
Everybody was expecting bad things. Honestly, they were looking at some of the gameplay previews and everything else, and they just weren't down with what it was doing. But apparently, it's got a fantastic story. It is really, really hitting on all cylinders in that way. Even the combat is not bad at all.
Yeah.
The exploration parts
very
is great.
Uncharted like.
So I think it's getting really good reviews, and it's honestly moved up in my. Well, okay, not to hijack your thoughts on this.
No,
thing,
that's
but,
fine.
I can't justify playing it right now. It's a single-player game that has very little replay value that I understand, and it has no plans for DLC or anything else. It does not justify me spending the money that I would spend on it because I know
Wait for a sale.
come later it's going to drop in price.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely play it. 100%.
You know,
play
it feels like Detroit or Control, which is what I've been waiting on. Control's another thing. Now, Control had DLC, but Control is about to get a price cut to like $30
That's not
on
bad.
on Black Friday, and I'll be able to pick it up with my Best Buy Gamers thing. Take another 15% off of that, or 10%. I can't remember what it is. So I'll be picking it up for like $25, $24, something like that.
Well worth it.
Perfectly fine. I even looked it up because I was trying to find the game on. I thought it was going to be on that EA Access game thing, whatever, the subscription service.
Yeah.
It is not for consoles, but it is for PC. So if you're on PC and you have Origin Access Premier, which I think is the more expensive tier of that thing,
Yeah.
it is on there and you can play it without having to buy the game. It's just part of your subscription. It is not in that. It is not part of that for console, for PS4 or for Xbox One. So I could sign up for that and download it and play it if I wanted to. But I actually kind of want to play it on the console just for the fact that I can play it on a 4K screen. But I've been looking at some Digital Foundry, the whole tech analysis stuff. It looks like it's only hitting 30 frames per second at 4K on the Xbox One X, whereas you can set it to performance mode, which will unlock the frame rate and say, okay, we'll go balls to the wall with this, but you might see dips
Banding
in frame rate, and you might see stutters and things like this. And so I'm still a little on it. They only had access to the Xbox One version of the game, so they were not able to test it for PS4 Pro. They weren't able to do any kind of PC analysis on it either. So I'm kind of waiting for that and see, how does it run on your PC, by the way?
Beautifully.
You max it out or what?
Yeah, it's on Epic, settings.
I'm curious what
it
I could
looks
get on
great.
my graphics card with that, because I might look into it. The problem is that I don't get a discount. Again, this goes back to the single player issue of it. The fact that I can't justify the cost. That thing I get from Best Buy, where when I buy something, I get not only the points that go towards that goes towards the $5 off and those little things, reward points.
Yeah.
Buying it on PC doesn't get me that. Buying it on PC will not get a gamer's unlocked thing, so I won't get a discount on the price. I will be paying full price for it if I do that. Whereas if I wait and just buy it on console, right now I can pick up the deluxe edition for I think $50. I think it normally goes for like $70, and I can get it for $50. Or if I pick up the standard edition, I think I get it for like $45. Which, $60, drop it down.
Yeah,
I get it
to
for
knock 15.
I get it for like
off, yeah.
$45. That's great, but I know that I can hold off on this and probably even get it cheaper when it drops in price some more.
Yeah.
And I'll also get points back for it because I bought it, that sort of thing. So I'm kind of I'm sort of, again, none of it seems to justify the purchase. Let's go back to that fandom we were talking about. If this were an Uncharted game, it would be different. Single player, I'd be buying it day one. It's totally single player, no replay value whatsoever, no DLC planned, which is usually the case with them. I'm buying it day one. Last of Us 2, buying it day one. You know what I'm saying? Even though it still falls into that category, I'm still getting it day one. Say that, I need to reach out to the Naughty Dog and see if I can add to my signature collection of all of their stuff and see if I can get a copy of that signed. But anyway, that's that goes to my point of like, sometimes I do it because I'm a fan. Sometimes I do it because I'm pinching pennies, which is weird for me. So just go out and buy it. So yeah, but it's good. It's a good game. I'm hearing nothing but really good things about this, and and everybody who comes out with that whole with that praise, it's all surprised praise, basically. They were expecting not good, and they got something that has exceeded their expectations.
Okay.
I was weary about, Jedi, because I'm kind of tired of the Jedi. That's
You
why
always like playing villains.
and I do like playing villains. But, but this is actually, I think, handling it kind of...
Vader did nothing wrong.
The levels are just amazing. They're huge, for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's multiple pathways to any, that always keep on branching off. And when you go to the map, your little droid, BD, he actually
Is that the one you carry on your back?
Yeah, the one you carry on your back. He does a holo map, and so when you're looking at it, you'll see where the whole map area, and then they'll have areas that are new that you can go to, or areas that have just opened up that are green, and areas that are blocked off that are red that you don't have the powers yet. Mm-hmm. So as you go through, you gain the different powers. The first one you get is the wall running. Mm-hmm. Then later on you go to a different planet and you get the force push, and then you can upgrade your lightsabers and stuff. Most of the lightsaber upgrade I've seen so far is cosmetic. You'll have little boxes that you can get stuff. So you get a different outfit or a color of the droid or your ship. Will change colors. But they also have the hilt of the lightsaber, the different cosmetics to make it look different.
Mm-hmm.
So you can customize the way your lightsaber looks. I finally
Color of the blade?
Huh?
Color of the blade, too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now I've unlocked green, blue, and then I have the premium orange.
Okay.
So I've been running around with the orange blade.
Mm-hmm.
I just unlocked it where I have a double lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually fix your lightsaber as you go through, and now it's double and stuff. But there's a lot of backtracking.
Yeah,
but in a fun way.
But ask, yeah.
Because as you gain powers, you're oh, hey, that one world that I was at, that all this stuff was blocked off. Let me go there, and then your character Cal Kestis is his force ability. The way he's centered in the force, he could sort of see force echoes and everything. So that's where you get a lot of the backstories for not only just your character but the planet and different events that are happened in the past. He'll see a force echo. And then oh, hey, this trooper, you see a dead body, this trooper was attacked by these creatures. Then next thing you know, this big creature comes out, and you can fight them off and everything. The combat's a lot of fun. It's can be challenging. I was in Dothamir, which is the world of the Night Sisters, and the Zabrak, from Darth Maul, his character was from Dothamir, and those guys were just kind of putting the hurt on me a little bit, and so you have to really parry at the right time, go back to quick combos, maybe a heavy attack, roll out of the way, and then as you get skill points, you could get different abilities. I mean, when the first real planet that you go to, mission wise, not just the planet that has the temple that you're trying to unlock. As you go further down into the planet core, or just further down in the caves and everything, there's a whole imperial structure, and that opens up a whole another area. I'm this thing is huge. If I would just gone through in the one couple of areas that I was supposed to go to and go back to my ship, I was just exploring around. Any chance I see a way oh, hey, I get to this area now, let's see what's there, and it just kept on going, and just I was really surprised on how big these maps are. I just got to Kashyyyk right now, so I'm helping fight with the Wookiees, and met. I guess is the area that they showed in the previews and everything, where you meet Saw Gerrera. So seeing the Dreamers and Saw Gerrera is kind of neat, because they got Forrest Whitaker to do his voice in this as well. So it's kind of neat to be able to fight with Saw. So I'm really enjoying it.
How many hours do you think you're going to be able to put into it?
Oh man,
I've heard it was short.
I mean,
I know that's.
it
I know
all
that's,
depends on how
Yeah,
much,
that's subjective.
How
I
much do you want to
understand.
collect? How much do you want to explore? If you just run through
Yeah.
the storyline, I mean, you could beat. I saw a guy beat online Outer Worlds in 12 minutes.
Right? Yeah, I saw that too.
You know, so yeah, it's a short game, but you know that's not including all the stuff that exploring every little nook and cranny.
Yeah,
Trying
but
to,
when you
Yeah.
go through Outer Worlds in 12 minutes, you're missing
everything.
a massive amount of story.
Yes.
What are you
But-
missing? See, if you're going to explore and do collectibles, though, are you getting any story from that or no? Like if you just follow straight storyline in Star Wars,
You can miss upgrades like.
But does that advance the? But how does that affect your story? Like 12
Then I
minutes
would
in the
say-
Outer Worlds, that affects your story.
I would say
That affects your
necessarily-
experience and what you're told.
Yeah, I would say it wouldn't necessarily affect the story, but like you could totally miss the upgrade for the double lightsaber, or you could miss like just little upgrades that you see.
I understand.
Throughout
I
the
understand.
way.
And you know what I'm saying is
Yeah.
that doesn't affect your experience with the story though.
No.
That affects your experience with
with
combat
the
and
game.
things like that.
Yeah,
So I'm curious. Like
I'm not-
again,
but see, I'm not sure how.
Yeah,
how
what story
quick this-
elements are you going to miss doing that?
Yeah, I'm not sure how long the story is because I'm exploring everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
I understand. I understand.
Yeah, I am.
more than likely I would be doing the same exact thing as you're doing because I'm
let's see,
sort of
it
what's the
said
word?
Stretch it to 20 hours, I guess.
That's what he says. He said you can. He says you can stretch it to 20. I heard.
Yeah.
So not that bad, but I don't know. But again,
Yeah.
it reminds me of God of War, which was seriously straightforward, but you could put some hours into God of War
If you
because of
wanted
the
to.
exploration if you wanted to.
If you want to go back and fight some characters
Mm-hmm.
to get that combat,
Those Valkyries
get
come to
the-
mind.
Yeah.
you know.
And none of it would advance the main story, but you would still get story elements out of it, especially from Tyr. You would get conversations that you would have with your son that you wouldn't normally have because you fought whatever
Yeah.
it was you fought. Did that advance the overall story? No. Did it help the bond that you as a gamer were feeling towards your son? Yes.
Yeah.
Even though didn't matter. It didn't matter story-wise whatsoever. It did not matter. And I'm just curious,
Yeah.
again, I haven't played it. I don't know. But
It's interesting the way that you upgrade your character, Cal, when you do your skill points. There are certain sort of like meditation markers that you have to find, sort of like save points.
yeah, aren't
So-
they like bonfires?
Kind of in a way.
Are they? I heard it had a lot of soulsy elements.
I guess in a way, yeah. So like you find these different meditation
You can lose your
markers,
XP, and then you got to go and pick up your XP where you lost it from,
or
something
who
like
you
that.
lost it from. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you die, like if like a stormtrooper takes you out,
I was Bloodborne then.
then you have to go back.
Dark
and when
Souls,
you see
yeah.
that stormtrooper, if you hit him, you
Yeah.
get all of your health and your experience back.
Yeah, Dark Souls had the spot where you died. Bloodborne had the enemy that took you out. That's who you had to take out. to
And
get
this
your
is
souls back. Yeah.
both because, if it's a person, if it's an enemy that takes you out, you have to go fight. Attack that enemy and
Get that enemy
yourself.
back, yeah.
If I was like really hurt, and then one of the a bug, I killed it, but it exploded, and the explosion took me out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went back to the area, and it went the bug that had the XP. It was just on highlighted on the ground. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, okay, and now I picked it back up, and I got my XP back. But when you find these meditation markers
Mm-hmm.
around the world, that's where you could rejuvenate your health.
Yeah.
And the little stim packs that your BD can have. That's where you can go to your skill points and assign the different skill points and everything. And it's kind of neat because it's kind of set up when you meditate, you're in the world between worlds that they sort of showed in Rebels.
Really? That's in
Yeah.
there? Nice.
It feels like that area.
Oh, it feels
where-
like it.
Yeah,
Okay.
where it's like with the white and that
Yeah.
sort of otherworldly.
That's a part of Rebels I
meditation.
really wish they would have explored, or at least somebody explore that area.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have in literature of some sort, but
they got
Yeah.
other stuff. Maybe eventually.
Yeah, Thor says in the chat room that all enemies respawn, so there's another
Yeah, when you
soulsy
yeah,
reference,
when you go into a meditation state, all the enemies will respawn.
Yeah. So spawn for grind for XP that way.
Yeah.
Now your weapon choices, like you said, the bug when he was up close, it blew up. What are your long range options? Because you got more than that saber, right?
You got
got
your
the
force
saber
powers.
and the force powers.
Okay, what
Force
long range?
powers are long range.
Okay, the
Yeah,
force
so
powers
I
are
could,
long range
or
stuff.
like
Okay.
I could attack it and push it, and that
Can
if
you pull?
eventually I haven't unlocked that
Okay.
power yet.
All right.
I know, like when the stormtroopers, like when they're blasting, shooting at you, you could just if you just hold down the block, he'll just just like sort of like wiggle the saber around and like deflect.
Yeah.
But if you do it right before it hits you, you could like reflect it back to the person.
No, return to sender. Okay.
So that way, if someone's like far enough away, like you could do that. And then it had like some rocket troopers where like I did you could slow down the rocket, then push it back towards them. So I mean, there are ways of taking out people who are
like
farther
Dead
away.
Space. Like Dead Space.
Yeah, like the kinetic.
Stasis
and
a
then-
projectile, then send it back to him. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
So I'm really enjoying it.
Okay.
The movement is really nice. Like the wall running, the platforming sort of aspects of exploration.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just so much, paths to go around, and like once you unlock the power, some powers, like hey, now that I can push, I could go back to this one area or this one planet and progress further where I couldn't have before.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Well, good. We need to take a break.
okay.
And hopefully when we come back, we've got some time to hit up some news items here. There honestly wasn't a lot for me to put, but there was a lot that went on this week, especially if you want to talk about the Xbox side of things and their X19 event that they had. So we'll try and get into some of that as well when we come back. Right now, here is music from Pokemon Sword and Shield. I don't know if this comes from Sword or Shield, well, it doesn't matter because they're the same game, just with different Pokemon in there, from what I understand. Anyway, this is the Follow Me theme. We'll be back with more in-game chat right after this. Welcome back to In-Game Chat. This is music from, I think it's either called The Legend of, or The Adventures of. I think it's The Adventures of Bumbo. Anyway.
I don't know why, but I was thinking of Edith Finch.
No, this is Bumbo, and it's called Genesis 2210, the Lullaby version.
Well, not the game itself, but something the genre of Edith Finch,
Well, yeah.
something like
This
that.
is actually, from what I understand, this is now the name is I'm drawing a blank on the name.
What's
the-
it?
the guys-
The Adventure of.
It's called The Adventures of Bumbo. It's the guys who did Binding of Isaac.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, it looks like it.
Yeah,
Looks like it too. Yeah.
it's very much in the same vein. Probably has some sort of universe connections. You know what I'm saying? You know, in the same sort of universe as that game, Binding of Isaac. So, but that's Bumbo. I really like the music. So, anyway, welcome back to the show. Just to hit some of the news, since we've really only got about 15 minutes of the show left. Death Stranding became PlayStation's second biggest exclusive this year. To look into and see what their first... Oh, that's right. Days Gone. Days Gone was their biggest exclusive this year. Death Stranding is the second biggest, which I would have thought that might have eclipsed it. It seems like this has a lot more weight behind it, you know?
More, yeah. Days Gone just sort of came and went. I don't hear much about it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Same. Whereas Death Stranding had a whole lot of build-up.
They had a Rick and Morty commercial.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah. Google Stadia comes out on Tuesday.
Does it?
I mean, some form of it comes out on Tuesday. So they talked about the launch lineup of games, and then they did an AMA on Reddit. And the headline of Eurogamer says, reading Stadia's AMA is like watching a train crash everyone is weirdly happy to be involved in. Okay, Google. That's the sub-headline. It's, okay, Google. Seriously, everything that is talked about or asked about or everything else says, not at launch. We're planning to have it early next year or in the future. Everything is just reading this article here. They both did a pretty thorough job of answering Redditors' questions, and the tone of the whole thing seemed positive despite most of the information being about how many features the system will be missing at launch. For example, Stadia will have parental controls from launch day, but no family sharing, meaning you'd have to buy separate games for you and your child's Stadia account. It's a high-priority feature we're planning to launch next year, they said. Other things the system won't have at launch include an achievements UI. You can earn them, you just can't look at them. 4K, HDR, 60 frames per second on anything other than a Chromecast Ultra. The Buddy Pass, which becomes available about 2 weeks after you receive your bundle. A bunch of multiplayer features like Stream Connect.
It won't have games.
Yeah. The first game with this feature is expected to launch by the end of the year, amongst a few others. Oh, and if you have a Chromecast Ultra devices already, this will require a software update due soon after launch. So if you've ordered a Founders Edition Stadia, what exactly will you get on the 19th release date? Access to 12 entire games and an invite code to make your account and claim your Stadia name. You could even get the rest of the kit in the following days, provided your delivery person is on schedule. If you live in close proximity to the Google offices, your delivery person could even be one of the developers on the thing, because they said... He actually said, you know what, here's a crazy idea. Let me personally deliver one, and he offered to do that during the AMA. If you're in the Bay Area and you're okay with me coming to your house at 9 a.m. on the 19th, please DM me with your pre-order number. I'll pick one person based on an order received and how close you are to my house and drop by on my way to work. Bring your order, and we can even play your first game together.
Weird.
What do you think? Yeah.
Please, somebody like us.
Yeah, I know. There are some positives to come out of the AMA, however. When you get your code to create your account on the system, even if you don't have the hardware, you'll be able to play straight away on a Chrome browser or using a Google Pixel phone, using mouse and keyboard or compatible controller. Oh, but you can't actually do the initial setup or buy games without your phone, because, again, there's no UI for it. But you can use Google Play credits and gift cards, so there's that. Man.
So you ain't ready yet.
They are not ready.
You're not ready yet. You're not ready for a release.
They are not ready.
As you know, like we mentioned in our chat that how long until this is like in the dustbin of the Google, you know?
Right. When does this
when does this go to?
How many bets on the Google graveyard?
Yeah.
That this is going to go to.
Yeah, they're not known for being
supporting of their stuff.
They like to create things, and regardless of whether they're successful or not, they like to kill things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
they throw ideas against the wall like nobody else, but then they also just like, all right, to the dustbin it goes.
I guess place your bets over under 12 months.
So that's the Google Stadia thing. Apparently, the Ghost Recon Breakpoint update isn't enough to fix things,
Oh,
from what I've read here. And I'm trying, again, running out of time on this, but today, Ghost Recon Breakpoint got its biggest update since launch. Besides the 2 new faction missions, there are a host of tweaks, some big, some small. They might not turn Breakpoint into a game you need to play, but they are slowly turning it into the sort of Ghost Recon experience players have come to expect, coming off 2.5 years of Wildlands.
yeah.
Let's see. Today's update also made it possible to finally shift the camera to your character's opposite shoulder while aiming behind cover.
Oh,
A feature common even to a lot of non-tactical shooters. And for anyone who's stuck with Breakpoint since its bumpy launch and needs more quests, 2 new faction missions have been released. Is due for another large update later this month, but it's not clear if that one will go much further in overhauling the game or settle for smaller fixes until Ubisoft decides on a new direction for what it wants Breakpoint to become. That looks like that was an opinion piece mostly. What else do we have? Red Dead Redemption 2 PC update with an apology that was released.
yeah, with it not quite working for a lot of people.
Yeah. Which I'm glad it's working for you on that
Yeah.
one. Halo Reach launches December 3rd on PC.
That I'm looking. I'm actually excited about that.
7 games for... Is it 7 games?
Yeah.
7 games for $40?
Hello, 1, 2, 3, Reach,
ODST.
ODST, and 4.
And 4, yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of games
And
for $40 on PC, playing it on Steam. I'm looking
I think
forward to
there's
that as
something
well.
else because that's only 6. I thought it was 7 games.
You know, with Bungie, it would seem like that. Even though it's not Bungie, it's whatever the name of it.
343.
343, yeah. You think it would be 7, but I'd have to look at it and see. In fact, I will look at it and see because now I'm curious myself.
Yeah.
Halo Reach has been running beta tests. PC version comes with some important updates. Says it reports 4K UHD, run better than 60 frames per second.
Master
and
Chief Collection. Let's see.
this is all about testing.
Yada, yada, yada.
Curious what they
Content
were.
for this game.
Let's see. Everything. That's what I want to see. Talk about X19, this Microsoft event that took place this week, where they had a lot of announcements made. Rare is working on a new game called Everwild. There was a trailer shown for that. Obsidian's next game is called Grounded. They just did Outer Worlds, and now they're working on a new game called Grounded.
I guess it's a Halo anniversary.
Oh, that's right.
So yeah, you get Halo Reach, Combat Evolved Anniversary, Halo 2, Halo 3, ODST, and Halo 4.
Still 6 games. Unless I miscounted what you just said there.
Which anniversary is it for Halo?
Which anniversary?
20-some years?
Oh, God, I have no idea.
Okay.
No clue. Ninja Theory's new game will launch in March of 2020. That's called Bleeding Edge. We saw a tease of that, but we didn't really get a lot of information about what it is. Don't Nod's next project, Tell Me Why, is going to get released. These are the guys who did Life is Strange and a couple of others. Looks really good. Project xCloud is branching out to Windows PC next year. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, man. Put Google Stadia to shame. It really did. Planet Coaster coming to Xbox One and PS4. Halo Reach hits the master. Yeah, we talked about that.
That video that you posted about the flight sim.
Microsoft Flight Simulator, they released a trailer
Wow.
for that, yeah.
Man.
Looks really, really good. Age of Empires 4 had a debut. Xbox Game Pass is bringing 50 new games to the service, including 10 Final Fantasy titles. Minecraft Earth is still in early access. Wasteland 3 is coming in May of 2020.
Yep. I heard we were going to get new info on the new Assassin's Creed pretty soon.
I've not heard that.
One of the guys I followed, Joe Raptor, was talking about that.
The Yakuza series is coming to Xbox One.
Oh, good.
In early 2020, it'll be available on Game Pass. Yakuza 0, Yakuza
first three.
Kiwami 1 and 2 all coming out. The original Kingdom Hearts games are heading to Xbox One. Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8 are going to be, they're also dropping a demo of Kingdom Hearts 3 on Xbox One as well. So all of Kingdom Hearts will be coming to Xbox One.
I still think for when they do the remake, whatever, for 3, they should call it 33 and a third.
Or like the Evangelion did with theirs.
Well, I was thinking more like
No,
Naked
he's
Gun.
thinking of Naked Gun. Kart Rider Drift is a console version of a long-running game that is going to be on Xbox in 2020. West of Dead looked really cool. It's a new twin-stick top-down shooter from Raw Fury.
All right.
Check out the trailer on that. I think you'd like that. I mean, it's a flaming skull, so, it's got to be good. Another game called Last Stop is coming out. Planet Coaster we talked about. Microsoft Flight Simulator was another one. And so, yeah, a lot of good stuff out of the Xbox event. What else do we have? Path of Exile is getting a sequel. And then BioWare has plans to do a complete overhaul of Anthem.
Sure.
Uh-oh, my screen locked up. Okay. Recent silence and a couple of high-profile departures from BioWare have led fans and pundits to speculate the studio has abandoned Anthem. But the opposite is true. For the last few months, BioWare and EA have been planning an overhaul. According to 3 people familiar with those plans, some call it Anthem 2.0 or Anthem Next. Many of the details are still in flux. There's no clear timeline for the project just yet. The developers at BioWare haven't even decided how it'll be distributed. They're still figuring out whether updates should be released all at once or over an extended period of time. They could be issued through a series of updates, just like No Man's Sky was. It could get a game-changing expansion like Destiny's Taken King. The one thing that's for sure is that BioWare has not abandoned Anthem, despite recent breathless declarations that the game is dead. Right now, dozens, if not hundreds, of developers at both BioWare's offices in Austin and Edmonton are quietly working on plans to overhaul the game.
Doesn't that game cost like $12 now?
I'm not sure.
Anthem? Oh, it's cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, it's massively cheap.
Yeah.
There's also a rumor that they're working on the next Mass Effect game as well. BioWare, meanwhile, is still invested in role-playing games. In addition to the much-anticipated Dragon Age 4, which BioWare teased last year, a new Mass Effect game is in very early development at the Edmonton office under a longtime BioWare producer. So, yeah. We'll see if they can turn it around. Be something if they could. God, that thing just failed miserably. Miserably. I mean, BioWare...
Worst fail ever?
They tanked a whole lot of stuff recently. Well, there was Anthem.
Andromeda?
There was Mass Effect Andromeda that kind of had shaky starts all the way around for these things. So, yeah, not the best of things. Anyway, we're coming up on the end of our time. I want to thank everybody for joining us in the chat room, as well as everybody who listens on the stream and on the radio as well. Thanks to everybody who grabs us each week from iTunes. Chris and Weeks, thank you guys for calling in, talking to us about those games, especially Weeks with the Pokemon stuff, because we didn't know what we were talking about.
Thanks for the update, man.
We really appreciate it.
That one, yeah.
Go to ingamechat.net. You can join us on Twitter, Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're on Steam, join our Steam group there. You can join our Discord, or at least our Destiny 2 clan Discord. We talk about other things than Destiny, but that's mostly what we talk about. So, yeah. You guys have a great week. Thank you, everyone. Going to leave you with a game called Sparklight. The track is called Gear Up for Adventure. This is a game I played at PAX, and apparently it is out now. Very Zelda-like. Probably not in story or, I don't know. It's Zelda-like in that it's sort of top-down, and you retrace a lot of things and go into different dungeons and stuff like that, basically. But anyway, have a good one. We'll see you next Saturday.